back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. Now, because it was the last night in Arizona, Jackie decided that she wanted to do something with everybody all together, so she decided to invite everyone to a male strip club. And Brittany decided that she was going to invite Clayanna to come because she really does like Clayanna, despite the fact that the other girls don't like her. Now, Clayanna was skeptical about going because she did say that she knows that the other girls don't like her, and she doesn't really like them too much either, and that's very clear. But she did tell Brittany that she would think about it. Now, I know for a fact when the other girls find out that Brittany invited Clayanna, they're not going to be too happy about it. Because in the previous episode at the Shaman, when Brittany told them to give Clayanna a second chance, everybody said no except for Jackie. Now, Jackie decided that she was going to invite Vanessa, but Vanessa said she was not going because she's exhausted after the conversation that she had with Evelyn. Now, I'm not a fan of Vanessa at all because I think that she's really messy, but at the same time, I didn't like some of the things that Evelyn was saying to her in the previous episode. Now, I can understand that Evelyn was trying to have Jennifer's back, but she was more mad at Vanessa than Jennifer was about her investigating Jennifer's boyfriend. She was the one going off on Vanessa, not really Jennifer. She started insulting Vanessa, and then after she insulted her, she was trying to act like she was being genuine and that she really cared about her. She started off by telling Vanessa that she doesn't have anything going for herself, and when Vanessa tried to defend herself and say that she's a mother, a wife, and a business owner, Evelyn ended up bringing up that Vanessa is not in a happy marriage because obviously Vanessa has been very vocal about her husband's cheating. And despite the fact that Vanessa is really messy, I thought that it was wrong that Evelyn said in front of Jackie and Jennifer that Vanessa was crying to her about having a miscarriage because she found out that her husband was cheating, and that the woman he was cheating with tried to extort them. And after Evelyn said all that, then she wanted to try to get emotional and act like she cared about Vanessa. She tried to hug her. She got emotional. She started telling Vanessa that she deserves so much better. And although the things that Evelyn was saying was true, because obviously if you're being cheated on in your marriage, you do deserve better. But at the same time, Evelyn started off insulting Vanessa. So why is Vanessa going to think that Evelyn was being sincere? When they arrive at the strip club, Brittany does tell them that she invited Clayanna and that Clayanna might show up, and nobody was happy about it. And when Clayanna does end up showing up, nobody says anything to her except for Jackie and Brittany, which Brittany thought that Jackie was being fake. Because Brittany knows that Jackie doesn't really like Clayanna, nobody really does, so she didn't understand why Jackie was being so friendly. And I mean, I think that Jackie was being fake too, but at the same time, I don't think that it would have been right if Jackie was rude to Clayanna just because she doesn't like her, because everybody else was already acting like they didn't like Clayanna. So if Jackie wants to be cordial, I think that's okay. Now, while everybody was dancing and having a really good time, a song ends up coming on. And during this song, they say, "There's some hoes in this house." Now, Jennifer thought that it was okay to be petty, and she pointed at Clayanna. Now, at this point, Jennifer made sure that Clayanna saw her pointing at her, and so she got really upset, and she pointed back at Jennifer. Now, Jennifer and Evelyn were laughing really hard. They thought that it was so funny that, Jennifer was being petty and she pointed at Clayanna trying to imply that she's a hoe. And I honestly didn't think that that was right because everybody talks about how problematic Clayanna is, but they don't talk about when the other girls antagonize her either. Now, at this point, Clayanna's pissed off and she stops dancing and she goes up to Brittany and Jac'elle and she tells them what happened. And don't get me wrong, I do like Jac'elle and I do like that she says that she's neutral, but at the same time, sometimes I don't feel like she's as neutral as she says she is, because when Clayanna goes up to her and tells her what happened, she was kind of trying to give Jennifer the benefit of the doubt. And apparently Jac'elle hasn't learned her lesson from trying to play peacemaker, so she ends up going to Evelyn and Jennifer to ask them what happened. And Evelyn is basically trying to downplay everything because obviously she has a biased opinion because Jennifer is her friend, and she basically starts saying that Clayanna is overreacting. But Jennifer ends up telling Jac'elle that she meant to point at Clayanna, she did it on purpose. So Jac'elle goes back to Clayanna and tells her that Jennifer admitted to pointing at her and calling her a hoe. So Clayanna ends up kicking her shoes off and she runs over to where Jennifer is sitting at, and she's basically standing over Jennifer at this point and she's asking her if she called her a hoe. And usually I would say that Jennifer has a lot of patience to be that calm when somebody's standing over her very aggressively, but this time I think that she was being weak Because honestly, if she was bold enough to point at the girl and start up some trouble, she should have been bold enough to stand up and say, yeah, I did call you a hoe. What are you gonna do about it? She didn't do that. Now, when Clayanna is standing over Jennifer asking her why she was calling her a hoe, Evelyn jumped up trying to fight Clayanna and she ends up snatching off Clayanna's wig. And security is trying to separate Evelyn and Clayanna at this point, and Clayanna is the one that ends up getting carried out of the club. Which I agree with Brittany that Clayanna didn't swing on Jennifer. She did stand over her, but Evelyn was the one that started swinging and snatched off Clayanna's wig. So because Evelyn is the one that started things off getting physical, she should have been the one that was carried out of the club. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that Evelyn was doing what she felt she needed to do. She was trying to defend her friend, which a lot of people would have done in that situation. But to me, Brittany was right, because if Jennifer did not want a problem with Clayanna, she shouldn't have been starting trouble then. And on the way home from the club, Jackie, Evelyn, and Jennifer thought that it was really funny that Clayanna got her wig snatched. But if it was the other way around and Brittany was the one that snatched off Jennifer's wig when she was standing over Clayanna, they would have said that Brittany was wrong. So I honestly feel like there really is a double standard in the group. Now, it's the next day and everyone is packing to head back to LA, but Jackie decided to put together one last brunch before they leave. Now, Jac'elle ends up going to see Brittany to see if she's coming, and Brittany says that she's not going because she doesn't like what happened the previous night. Brittany tells Jac'elle that she doesn't feel like Clayanna was wrong for going at Jennifer because of Jennifer pointing at her, implying that she's a hoe. And I agree, because even though Clayanna does get too defensive and she's too quick to pop off, this time, Jennifer really did antagonize her. And when Jac'elle shows up to the brunch, she tells them that she feels like people were purposely treating Clayanna some type of way. And that's when Jackie ended up cutting in, trying to defend Jennifer, and basically said that no, she didn't agree that Jennifer called Clayanna a hoe, but at the same time, she didn't feel like it was worthy of Clayanna to go up to her and stand over her in a very aggressive way. But to me, they all have biased opinions, because unless you're in that situation, you don't really know how you'll act. Maybe Clayanna shouldn't have stood over Jen, but Jennifer shouldn't have started it. And when they end up asking Jac'elle why Brittany didn't show up, she tells them that Brittany said she wasn't coming because she didn't like the way that Clayanna was treated, and she also feels like there's a double standard in the group. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really annoyed with Evelyn this entire brunch because she was just so upset at the fact that Brittany didn't show up, and I really didn't understand why. She was sitting there saying that Brittany is trying to include herself into some drama that doesn't have anything to do with her when she did the same exact thing at the club. That whole situation between Jennifer and Clayanna had nothing to do with Evelyn. That didn't stop her from getting involved in it though. And don't get me wrong, I do like Jac'elle, like I really, really do. But at the same time, I feel like she wants to fit in too much with the OGs of the show, and that's the reason why she doesn't really call them out when they're wrong. Like, I really do hope that Jac'elle realizes that if she gets into it with one of the popular women on the show, they're all going to turn against her. The only time they won't turn against her is if she gets into it with Jackie, because none of them really like her anyway. Now, when they finally get back to LA after the trip, Jennifer's boyfriend ends up surprising her with the cutest puppy ever. And according to Jennifer, this is something that he does every single time she comes back from vacation. She claims that every single time she comes back from vacation, he has a big surprise for her. Now, part of me thinks that that's really sweet, and then there's another side of me that is very suspicious, and I feel like maybe he does it to butter her up so that she's not trying to figure out what he was doing while she was away. But she does end up telling him that Vanessa investigated him. And honestly, he didn't seem to care about it. Like, maybe he really doesn't have anything to hide. I truly do not know. But the way that he reacted to finding out this information didn't make me feel like he was hiding something. Maybe he is hiding something that Vanessa didn't end up finding out. Now, because Brooke has a nonprofit organization and she's trying to raise funds so that people can pay for beauty school, and she's doing this in honor of her daughter who was also in the beauty industry, Jac'elle ends up showing up to support Brooke, and I love that about Jac'elle. I feel like she's very supportive, and I do feel like she's a good friend. But one thing that I don't like about Jac'elle is that I don't think that she's as neutral as she thinks she is. And at the very end of this episode, when Jac'elle meets with Brittany, she lets Brittany know that Evelyn was not happy that she didn't show up to the brunch. But Brittany does let Jac'elle know that she just feels like there's too much drama and shadiness within the group. And she lets her know that she really does see that there's a double standard and she really doesn't like it. But then Jac'eil tries to make an excuse for Evelyn's behavior, saying that she's not wrong for defending Jen because Jen is her friend. Now, I don't necessarily think that Evelyn was wrong for defending Jennifer, but at the same time, Jennifer did start it, and I don't understand why nobody would say that she started it, because Evelyn was sitting there trying to make excuses for Jennifer's behavior, but then when Clayanna reacts, then Clayanna's the one that's wrong. And now Brittany sees that Jac'eil is not as neutral as she says she is, because she's always making excuses for the other girl's behavior, but she doesn't do it when things are the other way around. And when Jac'eil ends up telling Brittany that Evelyn felt like she was inserting herself into something that didn't have anything to do with her, Brittany feels some type of way now about Evelyn, because Evelyn did the same thing with Jennifer and Clayanna. That situation didn't have anything to do with Evelyn, and she involved herself in it. So now Brittany has an issue with Evelyn. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Basketball Wives LA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.